When they were buying houses were 150. Whereas now for the exact same house, you're paying, 1 million, 1.2 million, 1.4 million.
People actually feel like if they're renting, if they don't own a house, they're actually worth less as a human being.
If the time's 6 p.m., you have agents calling you at 6:15, 6:30 saying, can I still submit, which kind of screws everything up.
Yeah. Some of the older agents, they didn't know how to jump into that market.
100%.
When we're like, come on, get it going. Why is it taking 4 hours?
I mean, you guys are pretty old.
Oh, wow.
Okay, well, I'm going to get 5.09% on my 5-year fix. Okay, cool. What were you going to get pre-COVID?
In my opinion, I don't think interest rates are crazy right now.
I mean, that's the big debate. Do you buy right now? All right, I'm sitting in the room with two of the most beautiful people I know. Wow, I wish everybody could see you guys live.
Yeah.
You guys look great.
Thank you.
You guys want to introduce yourselves?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. My name's Ian.
Yeah.
I'm Alex.
My name's Jinder. Obviously, you guys know that. And we are keeping
it
fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
So we're with the Fresh Approach team led by Christy and Jeff. And I would like to consider us, the young bucks of the team. We're pushing it. We're in our 30s.
You guys are pretty old.
Oh, wow.
That's not funny.
Oh, wow. The giggle.
Says the 20-year-old, eh?
Yeah, I think that we're the young bucks.
We're the young bucks.
Yeah.
We are.
Yeah. There's a lot of people, I think, in this industry that are kind of now moving out of real estate.
Yeah.
They're still there as the names that people know.
Yeah.
But they're not the ones that are actively selling.
Yeah, a lot of big names that you see, you actually don't get them when you're selling real estate, right?
100%.
You get their
big
proteges,
teams.
right?
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm not trying to say anything here, but there's new ways to do things.
Absolutely.
There's a fresh approach to
100%.
do things.
Yeah.
100%.
When you go in as, with these fresh eyes, we have a fresh approach to how a home should be sold today.
Exactly.
Yep.
I remember, when the real estate boom was happening a couple of years ago, and
During
prices
COVID.
were
During
going
COVID,
insane. There was
Yeah.
7, 8, 9, 10, 15 offers. Some of the older agents, they didn't know how to jump into that market.
No.
Because they were used to a slow one offer coming in. And when they were seeing all these offers, they were like, oh.
It was hard dealing with older agents as listing agents who didn't have the systems in place.
100%
When we're like, come on, get it going.
Yeah.
I didn't understand that. Why is this offer presentation taking so long? There's only 6 offers. Let's go. When I had an offer presentation, I had 6 offers.
Yeah.
Put it on a word sheet. This is offer 1, offer 2, offer 3. These are the offers. Why is it taking 4 hours?
I get sometimes it is tough to navigate though, because I had one last year where I got 22.
Oh,
and
yeah.
you give
That's
agents
different though. That's 22 offers.
But you give agents specific
Damn.
instructions about, what time to submit, and then if the time's 6 p.m., you have agents calling you at 6:15, 6:30 saying, can I still submit, which kind of screws everything up.
Yeah.
Yeah. The ethics of real estate aren't really there. But anyways, okay, so
we basically sat down, the 3 of us. We've been doing business for a couple of years now.
Yep.
I'm year 6.
You're year 6,
I'm year 2.
we've been working together now for, I'd say, coming on 2 years.
2 years, give or take.
We're almost 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah.
I'm
You guys
in the
almost 2
business
years.
to almost 2 years.
Yeah.
And seeing everything that's happening in the market, obviously we're on the ground floor.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
like, you know what? Let's bring a fresh approach to the podcast space.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah, I was gonna say podcasts are huge right now. It's all I listen to when I drive. Podcasts are huge. So why not? Let's have a fresh approach podcast. We're gonna keep it fresh.
Keep it fresh.
bring
Keeping
a
it fresh.
crap ton of value.
Yep.
Yes.
And
definitely.
I know right after this, you're in the middle of an offer right now.
I am. So if I have to jump off, you guys, or I'll
Yeah.
just answer it right now. We'll do live
Yeah,
negotiation.
I have offer that's conditional right now. You have a lot of stuff going on. You have a couple new listings that just hit the market.
Yep.
So at any given point, we might be, jumping
our
right out of
phones.
this call, but it's exciting because we
Yep.
get to now bring our world to everybody else.
Yeah.
And also, we were talking about the things that we want to do on this podcast.
Yep.
We want to bring people on. We want
Yeah.
to, have conversations and just keep it real.
Yep.
Yeah.
Keep it
Yeah,
fresh.
keep it fresh.
So yeah.
Well, I kind of want to start with a bang.
Okay.
I want to
Let's
start
do
with a bang topic because this is pretty huge for Canadians, not just in the GTA, but all across Canada. The cost of home ownership is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
So my first question to you guys is, what do you think is the biggest impact on today's cost of home ownership? The biggest impact. If you're going to own a home, what's the biggest impact?
You mean the biggest impact on the prices right now or the biggest impact on affordability?
Affordability.
affordability.
Affordability. Yeah. Prices is one thing, but for someone to be able to afford a home, what's the biggest impact?
Yeah. So there's, I mean, at the end of the day right now, the big thing is the interest rates.
Interest rates, yeah.
Yeah. You know what I
That's
mean?
what I was hoping you guys
so
say.
even if, cost of homes are going down, we're still paying so much more. When you do an analysis from 2022 when the prices were at the very highest peak to even now with the correction, with the interest rates, you're paying a lot of money right now.
Yeah.
So there's that question, do I jump in and buy a house with these crazy rates and then refinance later? Or do I wait till that price to come down?
But I feel like on the flip side, in my opinion, I don't think interest rates are crazy right now.
They're not.
Like I've seen fixed rates like sub 5%, which I feel like are fairly realistic.
Yeah.
Okay.
During COVID, we saw people getting 1-2% rates, essentially almost free money in some situations, which caused the prices to increase so much. And now I feel like it's fully stable. They are probably going to come down June, July this year.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see 25 to 50 basis points. But like maybe 75 if we're lucky by the end of the year.
But what really affects the interest rates for low prices versus high prices, right? And this is the way, because I'm also a mortgage agent. You guys know that. So I'm going to put my mortgage agent hat on right now. When the moment the interest rates come down even a 0.25%, the prices are going to go up again, right? People are going to be like, okay, now it's cheaper now to buy to buy property. But it's like I have a client right now that's in an offer presentation right now, and they know that because interest rates are becoming a little bit lower, if I buy a little lower and I can sell a little lower, the property that I buy is going to have more equity later on than the property that I'm in right now, right?
Relative.
So it's all relative.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, it's the cost of home ownership. But what I kind of wanted to dig into was also everything about the home. Your heating, your groceries, your fucking gas, property taxes. There's so many things that affect home ownership that interest rates can honestly be laughable right now. You're right. Sub 5% is a joke. A lot of people, this is my mortgage also rant right now. A lot of people don't even remember what the interest rates were pre-COVID.
Nobody remembers what they were.
Nobody knows. Okay, well, I'm going to get 5.09% on my 5-year fix. Okay, cool. What were you going to get pre-COVID? Do you know?
Yeah.
Nobody knows.
No.
Oh, I want to wait and see if I can get 4.5. Okay, so what happens when you get 4.5? What happens to the price?
Right.
Right?
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
I don't know. That's just my rant, you guys.
I mean, that's the big debate. Do you buy right now with, you're going to have way more equity in your property as the price increases, but do you wait right now or do you buy a year from now? That's the debate that's kind of going back and forth.
Yep.
But you do have to think about it in a way where, what am I able to afford? Am I able to afford $5,000 a month, $5,300 a month?
Yep.
And that's what mortgage payments are before, the kids, before utilities, before the home, the cost of even having that house.
Yeah.
That's where it starts to stack up. I was actually doing street interviews.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have been giving up things.
Like
just
what?
so they can afford rent and mortgage payments. Just everything. Like
Yeah,
Netflix.
you have to
little
sacrifice.
things like Netflix.
Yeah, it adds up.
Yeah. It does.
Your date nights or even eating out, or they're cutting down on their data, like small things.
Yep.
And those are the sacrifices that are needing to be made.
Well, that's
right
another
now.
question I had is what do you think Canadians, how do you think Canadians are dealing with the struggles of not being able to afford their mortgages? Cutting down on Netflix, cutting down on Crave.
Yeah.
Honestly, I did the same, not because, it's affordability, but do I really need Crave? Do I really need all of these things? Me and my best friend have a deal. I pay for Disney, she pays for Netflix.
Oh, wow.
And it's been like that since we stopped living together. But small things, right? Do you have a budget when you go to the grocery store? Some people can't even afford a mortgage. How are they surviving right now in today's market when they're paying rent?
Absolutely. It's insane.
Yeah.
It really is insane. And I love spending money, but I looked at I did my taxes last year and I was like, oh wow, I want my life to be a little bit different. And it's a little bit of a struggle cutting back because we're used to living in a certain way.
That lavish lifestyle.
Yeah. And
having
number
everything,
two,
getting everything that we want.
There's this cultural bias right now that your worth is tied in ownership.
That's huge.
And it was actually, I don't know who said this, but people actually feel like if they're renting, if they don't own a house, they're actually worth less as a human being. And now couple that with the angst of home ownership being so expensive.
Yeah.
That's actually
like $1 million for something
Yeah.
that's nothing. You know what I mean?
That's a really good point. And I feel like a lot of this stems from the older generation, like all of our parents when they bought houses. So the argument is always when we bought a house, interest rates were 12%, 15%, 20%, whatever it was.
Yeah.
But
Back in my day.
when they were buying houses were $150,000, $200,000.
Yeah.
Whereas now for the exact same house, you're paying, you know, 1 million, 1.2 million, 1.4 million.
Yeah.
It's a completely different market. But I feel like you're right. A lot of the people are like obsessed with like the idea of ownership and owning their home.
It's about saying it. And in reality, you don't own your home until you pay off the mortgage.
Correct.
You're still in debt, right? But to jump to the next question, do you think it's better to rent or to buy?
I think it really depends on the certain situation.
Yeah.
But I don't see renting as a bad option.
Yeah.
I don't think you should ever go into a situation where you might kind of strap yourself. Like a lot of people are house poor.
Yep.
They put every single dollar that they have into their house and they have nothing left.
Yeah.
Whereas renting, a lot of the benefits are you're paying a fixed cost per month. If your unit was occupied first before November 15, 2018, it's rent controlled. So the government sets a percentage. Last year and this year, it's 2.5%.
Yep.
You know, if something breaks down, if your roof has a leak, if your furnace breaks down, if your washing machine breaks,
Yeah.
you don't have
You
to,
call your landlord.
unless it's negligent on your part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your landlord's fixing it.
Yeah.
So there's flexibility after your first year. If you want to move, you essentially have to give 60 days notice, and then you can move.
Yeah.
Depending on if you own your house, it's all relative, right?
Yeah.
Based on the current market, how much you have to really run the numbers. How much can you get for your house? What does the purchasing the new house look like?
Yeah.
Timing things.
Yeah.
You know, if you're bridging a loan.
Yep. But also too, when it comes to renting, I just lost my train of thought, but it was for a landlord, you literally call them for everything, right?
Yeah.
So let's say I actually saw something on Instagram the other day, and it was such a good point. She's like, I'm a real estate agent. I rent my condo that I live in now, but I buy rental properties, and I'm a landlord.
Yes.
So when you break it down, she goes, the condo that I'm in, I forget who it is. I want to find her because it was brilliant what she said.
I think I saw the same video that you're talking about.
It was epic because I'm like, this makes so much sense. To buy the condo that she's in would be a $4,000 mortgage. The maintenance fees are $1,000 plus property taxes plus all your utilities. She goes, I'm running $6,000 to $7,000 when really I can take the money, the $200,000 that I would to buy this condo and go buy investment properties out in Windsor, out in bum shit nowhere, where, you know, rent's cheaper, but it's going to cash flow positive.
Yeah.
And then the cash flow positive pays for her rent. So she's living rent free because she's using a different strategy when it comes to real estate.
And the rent is essentially paying down her mortgage per month.
Yeah.
And she's getting appreciation on the property.
Yep.
So
and she's living in the condo that she wants downtown Toronto. Yeah. So there's so many different avenues when it comes to renting that.
And that's where we get to coach our clients, what the best course of action is for them. Because it's very, like, at the end of the day, if you were to say, was it better to buy or rent at the peak in 2022? What would you say in that state?
Well,
you know what I mean?
That's a good point because in the peak, right when COVID happened, it was amazing to buy. Those first 3 months, buy right there.
Because it was cheaper
to
own than it was to pay rent. Yeah,
yeah,
you're right.
But then rent plummeted.
Yeah.
Right? And it was so cheap.
Yeah, especially in Toronto.
So, I mean, there's pros and cons to both.
100%.
There's really pros and cons to both. So
I think we got to change the narrative, though, that if you don't own right now, you aren't a worthless piece of shit.
Yeah, that's true.
And that needs to be changed, like, drastically.
100%.
Like, your worth should not be tied in homeownership, although you should start prioritizing and learning how you can take the steps to actually own a house.
Yeah.
And today, it's so much harder than it was, like you were saying, when our parents bought.
Yeah.
It was just way different. So if we can slowly, you know, you're not learning how to buy a home or make money in school, ever. You're never learning about mortgage rates. You're a mortgage specialist and, you know, you're a realtor. We are on the ground floor learning things day in, day out.
I mean, around
people.
Yeah, there is ways to get into the market. A lot of people think, well, I want my dream home when I first buy. But no, buy that condo, get a 2-3 year fixed, and then upgrade.
Yes.
Right? You don't have to get a 5-year.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, everyone wants their forever home in that
Right
first
from the
purchase.
start. Yeah.
And it was Gary Keller who said, your first property, and he's like one of the wealthiest, you know, has so many properties and he's done really well. He said your first property should always be an investment property. Even if you move into it, you should view it as
an investment property.
That's the only way you're going to get in.
Yeah.
And then...
But it's location. A lot of people in the GTA want want to buy in the GTA. It's unrealistic, right? For people in our generation, you have to make $200,000 household income to buy a property, right?
Yeah.
An average property less than 2,000 square feet, let's say, right? To get in. So
you were asking what's one of the biggest things impacting affordability and housing. Another thing that people are talking about right now is immigration.
Yes.
Ooh,
And I know we've been kind of talking about that a
huge.
lot,
Yeah.
but that's been really big. And also all the temporary workers in Canada right now.
Yeah.
So those two things we've been seeing in the rental market as well. It's just driving the rent cost up.
yeah.
And so what are your thoughts on immigration and, how that's affecting affordability? Do you think it's one of the bigger factors or one of many?
I think one of many, because essentially when immigrants are coming here on a work permit, for example, they're not buying a house right away.
Yeah.
Because we have the foreign buyers tax, the 25%.
Sure.
So in my experience, 99.9% of immigrants are coming here renting for at least a year and then exploring the idea of home ownership.
Yeah. How many people do you think live in Canada right now? Do you guys know off the top
I
of
think
your
it's
head?
like 40 million people. There's like, I think it
Across
just
Canada?
hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like 40 million in Canada right now.
Exactly. So like when I was in university, it was 34 million people.
damn.
And I moved out to Los Angeles for a couple of years between, I think it was like
Hollywood.
2015. Yeah, Hollywood. And I remember people would be like, yeah, California has 39 million, 38 million people. And I'd be like, what? The state of California has more people than all of Canada?
Yeah.
That's insane.
Wild.
So I actually have the numbers here. I thought it'd be fun to tell you guys.
Dive down.
So Canada saw the fastest population growth in any quarter since 1957 in 2023.
Okay.
430,000 new people moved in quarter 3 of 2023. We went from 37 million people pre-COVID to now what you just said, October 1st, the new data from Statistics Canada, 40.5 million people.
Do we know where those people are? Like, are the majority of those people coming to Ontario, or do we know where they're moving to?
So I think they're obviously, it's all over Canada that these people are moving to. Probably the locations where nobody wants to go.
Yeah.
Like way up north or like parts of Saskatchewan. Oh, my phone's ringing.
Yeah.
But what was I going to say about that? Oh, yeah. So, when you're sitting at a dinner table and people are like, oh my gosh, it's all these freaking workers are coming in and taking all our jobs and everything. Yeah. Well, I was looking into that and so between the age of 45 and above, the number of workers 45 and above is just 8 million. There's only 8 million of them left. And then between 25 and 45, that's about 9 million workers.
In Canada.
In Canada right now. And the jobs that those people are replacing are the ones that are in those 45 and above range that are now all retiring.
Right.
They're the construction workers, the welders, the machinists.
A lot of the trades.
The major trades. And the thing is,
but we need those.
We 100% need those.
You definitely need
them. And they're usually the ones that are they're scapegoated as the ones that are like, oh, the housing crisis is because of these people. It's ridiculous.
It's actually, I don't agree with that.
So I think a fresh approach to this is that it's a lot of different factors.
So, I mean, if we want to dive into the immigration topic here, okay, so I did some digging. Okay. And the number that you said, the 471,000 new permanent residents in Canada in 2023. Wow. But then when I went on the Canadian Real Estate Association, they put in international immigration added in the third quarter of 2023. There was a record of 413,000 people.
Wow.
So for that to be in the third, is that only in the third quarter alone? Because whoever's watching this, if you can fact check me, please do, because I was digging deep and I really wanted to understand these numbers when it came to immigration. Those numbers is that the amount of people they're letting into Canada?
Yeah.
And then the 471,000 permanent new residents, that's just the number of PR cards they're handing out.
But also, like, a lot of the times when people, is that number inclusive? Because, like, if you come here on a work permit, typically after a year, you can apply for your PR.
Apply
so
for
are
a
they
PR card.
including that number in that as well?
I think the CREA in the 413,000 people are including everybody. So international students, work permits, asylum seekers, all of that. And then, but when you see Canada allowed, 500,000 people in 2023, I think that number is only the amount of permanent resident cards they're handing out. I don't think that counts the total number of people that are coming into Canada and staying. That being said, I did see something somewhere that said there was over 2 million people allowed in the country last year. How do you think we went from 34 million people to 40 million people in such a short period of time, especially over COVID? And
so pre-COVID was 37 million.
Yeah, so 3
million within COVID was 2 years ago.
So how do you think we went up that high?
Yeah, if Korea is saying 471,550 new permanent residents in 2023.
So I think the difference between that, there's people that are getting their permanent residency card, and some of those people have been in Canada for, let's say, X number of years.
But are they counting that as that number?
That's the question.
I don't know if that number is being counted, because the number that they're counting, Statistics Canada, is the number of new people being let into the country. And a lot of those are people that have work permits. So these skilled trades people, and then small portion is those ones that are refugees from, I think a lot were actually coming in from Mexico. So now there's new visa requirements there.
Yeah.
Fact check me. And also then we had because of all the wars happening, they were letting certain people in from there.
Yeah.
That's a small percentage,
but the numbers don't make sense to me, and I couldn't find the numbers online, right? So anybody who's listening to our first ever episode, please send us the link to let us know how many new people actually came into Canada last year and how many people were actually given PR. Yeah. Right? Because like you said, the PR cards are given people who were already here, right? So that number, I don't know, the 413,000 people that were added in international immigration in the third quarter of 2023 was a 28.8% increase in the same period of 2022.
Wow.
That being said, if we're letting all of these immigrants come into Canada, when we're relating it back to housing, where the hell are they going to stay? Like you said, all of them, majority of them need to find a roof. Real estate, shelter is a necessity. Everyone needs to have a roof over their head. So where are these people going, right? A lot of people are not coming to the GTA anymore because it's so expensive.
Yeah.
Majority of the time, people who are coming in, they don't have a history of credit because they're new to Canada. So they either have to provide 12 months rent up front, right? I've personally, when I first started real estate, I had so many clients that had to do 12 months up front because they just had no history, right?
Yeah.
And that's really affecting the real estate market. It's affecting the Toronto downtown market with all rentals.
There's this thing I heard. It says homelessness isn't only an issue with availability, but availability is 100% impacting homelessness right now. So there's all these people coming in. There's all these people that need homes, and there's just not enough homes.
There's not enough homes. They can't build them fast enough.
Yeah.
So my next question is, do you think a decrease in immigration would help prices? Because there was also a couple days ago, a new cap on immigration applies to international students, foreign workers, and asylum seekers. Canada plans to reduce the number of temporary residents to 5% of the population. So out of 40 million people, 5% of them will be international students, foreign workers, asylum seekers, down from the current 6.2.
Yeah. I saw that as well.
Right?
Is
that specifically talking? Is that different from people coming here on work permits? Like, is that specifically for students?
Foreign workers.
That's for workers.
Yeah, I think work permits too. So they want to limit the amount of people that are coming in, and then that in turn is going to be changing. The universities are saying, well, now our budget, our revenue.
We're not going to have people coming into our schools.
Yeah. But then that is going to affect the population, because where are those international students going to live? All the people that are going to Ryerson or U of T that can't stay on residence, they're finding rentals. Mom and dad over in, if they're coming from China or India or wherever they're coming from, are e-transferring them their month's rent, and they're paying for the rent. So it's a full circle.
Yeah.
It's a full circle. There's so many factors on immigration that affect real estate right now.
Absolutely.
100%.
Yeah. What were you going to say?
I had a rental listing in Kitchener in November, which is pretty close to Conestoga College, which there's been a lot of news about them accepting a lot of international students. It was a 2-bedroom unit, just under 650 square feet. And I had groups of 6 to 8 students inquiring, all trying to live in one 2-bedroom unit.
Wow. Just
which
bunk
I
beds
thought
everywhere.
was insane. Just laying out their mattress in the living room.
Yeah.
And it's sad.
But that's kind of like a rooming house at that point, right?
It
Hey,
is.
that's how the Indians got rich. We all stayed in the same house.
But
My
that's-
grandpa,
yeah,
my mom, my
it's
uncle.
insane,
That's how
like-
you do it. And at the end of the day, people are going back to the grassroots because you have to figure things out. I'd say the best advice that we could give anybody right now is understand what your entire situation looks like.
Yeah.
A lot of people get so overwhelmed when they hear all this and the prices are going up that they don't even know where to start, that they never start. At least know where you're at. I just sat down with newcomers to Canada. They've been here for a few years now. Both have great jobs. They're like engineers, but not enough for a house, isn't that right now? Because they don't have the down payment.
Yeah.
And so we had to get serious about, okay, what does it look like over the next 6 months to a year for you to get into this space of ownership?
Yeah.
And then they understand what that's going to mean for monthly payments.
Yeah.
When it comes to their mortgage, their expenses, and then you start working towards it.
Yeah.
If you can create that space in your mind, that's the only way you're going to get from point A to point B.
But when it comes to like new people to Canada, how are they navigating this? Because I've also dealt on the mortgage side with people coming to Canada. They still don't have their PR cards yet because usually you need PR to buy a property.
You do.
But if you have a work permit, that's an exception and you can buy a property.
Yeah.
99% of the time they have their PR. And what happens is they're bringing money over from, let's say, India.
Sure.
But again, putting my mortgage hat on, immigrants buying real estate, right? You get your PR. You need to have your down payment in your account for a minimum of 90 days. Okay. So if you're putting $150,000 down on a property, cool, awesome. Where's that money coming from? A lender wants to trace that money. So instead of having to say, okay, can you send me your bank statements from India? They keep it in their account for 90 days. And then the lender isn't going to say, okay, where's that money coming from? Because it's been in there. They have that proof, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of people are doing that. They're realizing, okay, I can buy real estate in Canada. Let me just get my money over there. And then I'll just wait a year, get my PR, however long it takes, and then I'll buy real estate as soon as it happens.
Yeah.
So that's totally affecting the real estate market.
Yeah.
Because in the scenario in the GTA where people, you have to, if you're buying over $1 million, you have to put 20% down.
You have to, yeah.
Right? There's
Yeah.
Am I getting that money? Are you getting that money right now? A lot of people are having their parents, but people who are immigrants coming to the country are bringing their money over, right? And that's how they're doing it. So in my opinion, it is affecting the real estate market when it comes to certain locations.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
That like Milton, for example.
Yeah.
Right?
One of the biggest growths in all of Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
It used to be
huge.
Abbotsford because they're all Christians out there and they just love, getting
Where?
Abbotsford. It's a city in Canada. And the only reason why this
Like, where the
city
fuck
was
is that?
growing
Like
so
beside
fast.
Chatham? Like where is that?
I don't know if I'm going to get canceled by Abbotsford people here, but like Christians can't, be intimate with another Christian unless they get married.
Yeah.
So, it's like you're not supposed to do that. And
Yeah.
because they're so Christian, I feel like they were all getting married at like age 18, 19, 20 and having babies and this entire city blew up. And then all of a sudden now there's Milton as well.
Yeah.
So obviously
I
Milton
still would
grew
like to know
because of
where
immigrants.
this
Yeah,
foreign
coming
town
where
that
Abbotsford is.
Hey, you guys can fact check me, but it was one of the fastest growing cities in the world, and that's why I think it was. And number
That's
two,
hilarious.
Milton.
I don't know if Milton's fast growing because of that reason.
Milton because of the immigrant. Yeah. You got to find out where So anyways.
You want to go into another
So
topic?
there's a lot going on with affordability but then there's the issue of zoning and getting permits. Like I have certain clients of mine that are trying to get permits just for their house and it's taking forever.
Yeah.
So there's
brutal.
backlogs.
Yeah, it's brutal right now.
everywhere.
There's-
like Canada, the GTA is like the worst place to get permits.
Yeah.
It takes forever to do that unless you know someone that knows someone that knows someone,
Yeah.
or you're building a 600,000 square foot property in Oakville. Like it's going to take you a while.
Takes time.
Takes
100%.
a while.
Some cities are a lot more friendly. Like I think Welland is pretty good in terms
Yeah.
of getting permits, but like
Yeah.
Mississauga, I know it's even like for getting
Yeah.
legal basements and stuff, it takes forever.
But half the time people don't even get permits for legal basements.
No, a lot of people don't.
A lot of people don't. When you'll see on
But
MLS,
if they are trying to do it
No.
legally,
the seller does not
Yeah.
the status of the basement retrofit. Whatever. Oh, that hits.
I think if
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
future, I see personally, I see a lot more people not choosing to go the home ownership route. and either leaving Canada or
Leaving the GTA.
not leaving Canada.
No one's leaving Canada. Okay,
Leaving
no
the
one's going to the
GTA
States.
or just renting.
Yeah.
Like I know a lot of people, like a
Yeah.
lot of my clients are cool with renting.
Yeah.
They know exactly how much they're paying a month. They have the flexibility there,
Yeah.
and they can maintain a lifestyle that they're happy with.
Yeah.
They can continue to do a couple trips every year. They can go out
Yeah.
to eat. They can, afford groceries.
Yeah, but rentals are getting really expensive. They've been
Yeah.
really expensive, rather.
They are, but I find that rentals right now, even with the current prices, if you look at a price you're paying for a rental versus a price you pay to purchase a property and have a
maintain it.
mortgage
Yeah.
on it
Yeah, and maintain it.
include all the costs
Yeah.
associated with
Yeah.
that. So like property taxes and maintenance. Especially even
Yeah.
with condos, you have the condo fees.
Yeah.
It's more benefit. Like it makes more sense to rent it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
At the end of the day, I think Canada is one of the greatest countries to live in
yeah.
out of the entire world.
We have free healthcare.
We have free healthcare.
Yep.
Literally, you can walk into a doctor tomorrow and get every scan that you need done, MRIs,
Yeah.
whatever. It's a great place to live. There's a few things that do need to change. Despite the things needing to change, I'm very positive with the outlook of where
Yeah.
we're going.
Yeah.
I think we need to change as Canadians because even though it's like one of the greatest countries, I know there's some people that don't want affordable housing next door to them. They're like, no, this is going to affect my community.
I heard this on a
Yeah.
podcast
It's like-
yesterday. Everyone wants affordable housing, but no one wants
it
their house
beside
to be
them.
affordable.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So now,
But the GTA will never become affordable for people. That's the thing, is that real estate keeps going up and up and up. Whatever happened, like the prices right now, I was looking at stats in Oakville, right? If we want to talk about the future, the prices pre-COVID to the prices now are still above where they were pre-COVID. Yes, the prices went like this in COVID, right? They came back down to reality where they should be because they never should have got up here. But the prices that are here are more than they were back here, right? So looking into the future, the prices are going to still keep going up eventually. That's what real estate does over time.
Yeah.
And again, putting my mortgage hat on, if the Bank of Canada does what they need to do this year, I think it's going to be either April. I hope it's April because that will help the spring market.
I don't think it's going to be April.
Don't think it's going to be April.
It's probably gonna
I
be
think it's gonna
June, July.
But I think if they do April, it'll be 0.25%.
I think people are already getting used to the fact that rates are going to be coming down, and like that stuff is being priced into the houses of homes because I see the demand increasing. Like I'm seeing multiple offers on listings.
Because you have to think now, people are buying right now, and then they're closing in a couple months when the interest rates are going down even more.
Exactly.
Right? But yeah, future-wise, I think we have a good outlook on the real estate market, personally. I think interest rates, like you said, are not that bad right now.
Yeah,
they're not
Everyone who's
terrible.
waiting on the sidelines, honestly, should not be waiting.
yeah.
At
they
least
should just
fixed
jump.
rates are not. And when I say rates, I'm
yeah.
talking like the variable rate, like Prime's still what, 7.2 right now?
So yeah, it's 7.25 or whatever it is. But and then when you're getting your variable, it's like prime minus
Like 0.5.
0.5,
Yeah,
if
so
that.
yeah.
Like
Variable is still high, but typically,
Yeah.
historically speaking, variable wins. Just you've had to weather the storm for the last year or so.
I think this year will have. They're hoping. I've heard and read that they want to lower it 100 basis points this year. I don't
150
think.
would be nice.
Yeah, it would be
I
nice.
think-
but
I don't
but,
think
but
it would
that's
be.
Or a
too much.
20% decrease in
That's
properties.
too much because then if it
not
goes
gonna
down
happen.
too quick,
Yeah, then
it's
yeah.
gonna fucking
I
just
agree
boom
with
the market
you.
again, right?
You know, people aren't going to like that I'm saying this, but
Yeah.
I've been kind of enjoying that the interest rates didn't drop.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be like 0.75 this year.
throughout the course of the
For
year. Yeah, I
2024,
could see
yeah,
that. Yeah,
0.75,
which is
yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, guys, I think that's a wrap on our first ever episode.
That was solid.
I mean, we talked about
was-
so
yeah.
much. That was really good.
Yeah, I
I'm really
loved
happy
it.
about this. We have to
Yeah.
do this again soon.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Keeping it
I
fresh.
think
Keeping
honestly,
it fresh.
we're just gonna keep getting better and
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah, I
trying to
think-
figure out how to hold this mic still.
I know.
You
But that
this
was a
is gonna
solid
create
run.
There's
like
a handle. There's a handle here.
Yeah.
You can like.
Is your bicep just like
I'm
flexing out of your
chilling.
shirt right now, Ian? From
Sure,
holding
it's
down
just too
or have you been working out? Holy smokes. Yeah, well, that's been fun, guys.
All right,
Yeah,
solid.
so we always have. We should say this in the beginning because
Okay.
we will start this in the beginning of the episode. We'll do this next time. But if you like what you hear, like, comment, subscribe.
Oh, that's a good one.
Right?
Yeah,
We got to do that in the beginning. And if you have questions, put them in the comments or let us know because then maybe soon enough we'll have enough viewers that we can do like a Q&A session.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Let's do it.
I
All
love
right.
that. And how about the first person that comments on this podcast, wherever it is, I'm going to personally show up at your house with a $50 Starbucks gift card.
That's Jinder for
with
you.
the end.
Fucking marketer.
They're gonna live in Abbotsford.
Oh, actually, no. Let's not do Starbucks because I don't even drink coffee anymore.
I don't drink Starbucks.
Let's just do.
I go to like Tribeca in Oakville. I'm kind of bougie.
Let's do a bougie coffee shop.
There you go.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in.
Peace.
Keep it fresh.
Keep it fresh. Yeah, keep it fresh. We'll see you in the next one.